Jefferson County farmers who survived the 1980s came face to face with a new agricultural landscape. It was now up to each farmer to develop a farming operation that reflected both their financial condition and their own unique farming philosophy.
One thing that's common with all farms is nothing is common between any farms, not even between any fields, because every field is different.
I was farming commercially, just like anybody else was. I had a cousin who was like 6 months older than I was. We both got drafted, but he ended up in Vietnam and I ended up back here in a reserve unit. And about 2 years after he got back, we buried him from Agent Orange poisoning. He sacrificed his life so that we'd have a life here. So I got to looking at what the Agent Orange formula and stuff was. I realized that some of those long names was in some of the stuff I was using. So I thought, well, if it wasn't good for him, probably wasn't good for me. And then in 1979, the fall of 79, I decided I'm done. I'm gonna try something different. I got to reading and stuff about this organic thing and one thing and another, and so sometimes it's good, sometimes it's pretty rough, but that's what I've been doing ever since.
Oh, years back I tried organic farming. I guess my experience was kind of bad because the guy's raising the crop for, he went belly up, so I didn't get any premium. One of my neighbors come by and he says, "Orv, I didn't know you grew weeds." And I kind of hit home because I'm kind of picky about my farm operation and how it looks. So that's one reason, and it just didn't work for me. So today everything's done by spray, and chemicals of some kind. But the weeds keep getting resistant to what they develop. So who's the smarter, the weed or the chemical company? So we're not going to get rid of weeds, I'll guarantee you. They will build a resistance to whatever we shoot at them.
Anything that we produce that's man-made, that's going to cure a problem, Mother Nature will always mutate and get around that. Every single one. I don't care if it's an antibiotic, I don't care if it's a herbicide, I don't care what it is, it'll get around it. But anything God put here to kill something, to benefit something, will always be there.
In the late 1980s, the third stage of technological advancement came through science. For thousands of years prior to that, farming was focused on the environment surrounding the crops. But with genetic engineering, a world of unknown possibilities became available where seeds could be given new instructions by which to operate.
Back in the 30s and 40s, it was called open pollinated corn. Farmers would save their own seed and plant. Then the universities developed some new, I call them inbred seed, pure seed, and used the cross-pollination to make hybrid seed. And everything that was developed has added to yield and performance.
My grandfather actually came forward early on becoming a hybrid seed corn grower, and with the help of Holden hybrids and later on with Middle Cup, really brought the yields up on the farm in a very extensive way. And the mark for that and his award was the corn growing contest here in Jefferson County, and having won it several years in a row. The interesting thing about that, of course, is that the yield was above 100 bushels an acre, and of course, modern farming techniques have boosted that multiple times.
The Switzer farm has a history of good yields. It's been in that family for over 150 years, and were early adopters. When hybrid corn was coming into place in the 30s, they were getting 100 bushel yields when everybody else was getting 30 bushel yields. Then genetic engineering came into the picture, and they could modify plants to resist pests and resist weeds, and now they got them to where they can resist drought. And so farmers are using way less pesticides than we did when I started farming and producing more crop.
In the old days, farming with horses, a family could get by on 80 acres. Today, a lot of them, it's not a farm, it's a business. They raise the crop just to sell, to get the money. It's just a business.
Part of the business of farming is to decide what to do with the crop. And the one thing when you talk to any farmer, because believe me, I've done this with my husband, why don't we grow this or that? He looks at me and he goes, Dee, where am I gonna sell it? So you have to have markets to sell your products.
The reason you see Jefferson County being so commodity driven with corn and beans really is because that's where the market is. And Jefferson County has got some of the best ground in the world for producing corn, beans, and those type of crops.
We're fortunate here that we have a lot of outlets for grain, and we're fairly close to the river. This year we've taken some to Heartland. We have taken some to the ethanol plant in Burlington, and we take some of our beans to the Mississippi River. And the beans get exported because we can't feed those on the farm. But we do keep some corn on the farm to feed the cows.
You probably don't know it, but there's like 70 different starches in a kernel of corn. There's all kinds of things that's made out of corn: corn flakes, cornmeal, corn syrup.
Cargill turns it into multiple products. Burlington turns it into ethanol and the byproducts of ethanol.
A lot of that still stays here through the dry distiller's grain or the wet gluten that, like farmers like myself, will use that to feed our cattle. So they're getting the oils to make the ethanol out of, but we're still getting the feedstocks out of that kernel of corn to feed our animals with too.
Soybeans are the same way. They make hoses out of soybean, diesel fuel.
And about everything has got a corn or bean in it, from your Tootsie Rolls to your sodas to everything else. So if there's a way that we can get 6 things out of one, we're gonna get 6 things out of one.
When you put it in your bin, you never know where that's gonna end up at. It might be on a train going to Mexico.
Could be a barge going down the river.
Pick your pick in what month and when you want to sell. It's a gamble. Dad always said you don't have to go to Vegas because you gamble every day being a farmer.
It's a very high-risk business, takes a ton of capital. The percentage of return is very small. There's not much margin for error in this industry.
Technology has changed tremendously, and so has the price. I remember starting out with a 4-row planter. Now, of course, we're up to 12-row.
A new 300 horsepower tractor's $300,000 plus. A brand new combine is in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. You know, we don't all need new ones, but somebody has to buy the new ones so the rest of us can buy the used ones.
The modern equipment is able to generate so much grain coming out of the field that you have to have a fleet of semis to be able to hold it, to carry it away from the field. So that's such an amazing thing to see.
I'm not saying the technology is not correct, but I think it's hurt us as farmers for the price we get for our products. We can overproduce so easy, and when you got an abundance of something, somebody doesn't pay you a fair price for it.